We are hearing deeply personal stories of families who would be impacted by the governor's plan to overhaul mental health care. We're talking about the toughest cases of people living on the streets, the ones clearly in crisis. The issue, how to help them.
Yeah, the governor's proposed solution is something called Care Court. It would create a new wing of the civil court system, allowing a judge to order a mental care plan for those dealing with severe mental illness. A person qualifies if they're at least 18, diagnosed with schizophrenia or another psychotic disorder, not receiving treatment, and lacking decision-making capacity. About 23% of California's homeless population was considered severely mental ill back in 2020. It's the forced treatment part, though, of that proposal that's getting so much pushback. Opponents argue it's inhumane and ineffective.
But KPIX 5's John Ramos heard from families who feel that forcing treatment may be the only way.
Disability rights groups say it's a matter of civil liberty, but some family members of the mentally ill say it may be the only way they can survive. There were only 7 people at today's press conference. No crowd of supporters, no street full of marchers. But they're used to that. Despite the happy pictures outside the Alameda County Administration Building, families dealing with severe mental illness are often alone in the fight to get help for their loved ones.
Was it anything I could have done? How could I have done it differently? You know, anger, that you cannot get help.
Patricia Fontana's son grew up a smart, motivated kid and was a student at UC Berkeley when he began to feel something happening to his mind. Within 2 years, he was sleeping on the heating grates outside his former classrooms. Now he's 38 and for the last 14 years has been living on the streets.
They don't see it as something wrong with themselves. You know, my son would tell me all the time, "You're the one that's crazy. I'm not crazy."
And that's why families advocating for the seriously mentally ill, or FOSME, is supporting Governor Newsom's Care Court proposal, which offers some level of mandatory treatment. They say delusional people will not get the help they need unless they're compelled to do so.
If someone is deteriorating and they will not cooperate voluntarily, then we think, yes, you don't just let them go and live on the street.
But a state agency called Disability Rights California is at odds with the governor's proposal. A statement on their website says, in fact, it will do more harm because studies showed forced treatment lessens the likelihood of people seeking voluntary treatment in the future. DRC favors a system that allows mentally disabled people to, quote, retain full autonomy over their lives without the intrusion of a court, end quote. But psychiatrist Dr. Alice Feller says that only makes things worse for those with major mental illness.
The problem with honoring this delusional state is that without treatment, the illness becomes more severe and more intractable.
That's what happened to Patricia's son, and now she fears he will never get the help that could have changed both their lives.
You know, it's like you're watching this train wreck, and it's coming, and you can't stop it.
In Alameda County, John Ramos, KPIX 5.
Civil liberty groups have lined up to condemn the Care Court proposal. One analyst at the ACLU of Southern California says the draconian plan would take us back to the bad old days of confinement, coercive treatment, and other deprivations of rights targeting people with disabilities. There is certainly a lot to cover on this issue. You can read more about the Care Court program and find resources at chhs.ca.gov/carecourt.